Good evening and welcome to West Park in Leeds. Tonight for the round 7 BUCS Super Rugby fixture. It's a freezing one and we're going to be playing live coverage of Leeds Beckett University versus Cardiff. Now I'm joined this evening by my co-commentator Alex Sefler. Alex, thanks for joining us. About 15 minutes to kick off here in Leeds. We've been surrounded by some of the under-10s and 11s from the West Park club. Great host for this evening, fantastic venue, fantastic ground. Tonight's fixture sees host to the top, second and third in the league, a big crunch match.
Welcome to part 2 of our Cardiff BUCS double bill. Last week, the Archers shot down Durham's ambition, but tonight we bring you a Halloween special as the Met men look to spook much fancied but inconsistent Loughborough on what we hope to be a thriller night.
Straight and true from Captain Morgan. 70 points so far this season, make that 73. Cardiff off the mark against Loughborough. Met looks to wrap around, and this is over to Rubazniak, who has the first try now as well. The open side, second in 2 games. David Rubazniak. Cardiff Met, they were off to a good start, make that a flyer. Dobinson to Davis. Now out to Captain Edwards, ducks inside, straightens the line, does Edwards. Move, so close, within a metre now, Loughborough. Over to the left-hand side, and they do get over the line. Loughborough's number 3, George Davis, the try scorer. In his 4th start in BUCS this season. Good momentum this for Cardiff Met. Morgan now, Llewellyn on to fielding. Wayne has a chance here in the corner. The right wing steps in, Corey Wayne. Seemingly Richie Lewis in the number 9 slot, but he just joined that maul, the big number 8.
Does it all, doesn't he?
Loughborough drive forward. Try given.
Try there.
Slick work from Loughborough's tight forwards. Richie Lewis, potentially the man to have come up with that one.
Offside. Outside entry. You hit it to me. Can't run it. Kick it to me.
David Rubazniak, Joe's man of the match. And that will be it. Cardiff Met 32, Loughborough 19. It's been a superb second half performance from the home side. 5 tries for them in all. They've taken the game to Loughborough throughout. Half-time, the men in purple led, but they had nothing in the end to deal with what David Rubazniak and his Cardiff boys brought to the party. Full time here at Kincoid, 32 points to 19.
Great highlights there of last week's match between Cardiff Met and Loughborough. As a bit of a precursor to this evening's game, we have 2 captains from the BUCS Super Rugby launch back in September. Tristan Lloyd of Leeds Beckett and Alec Davis for the BUCS team's introduction.
I think from the team perspective, obviously we didn't have the best of years last year, so we're looking, a lot of the boys are still here from last year, looking to sort of prove a point and improve from last year. Me personally, I've come back to do my Masters, so I'm looking to sort of obviously gain that extra education, qualification, and also push on in my rugby. There's a few new faces in the camp. As I previously said, there's a lot of first and second years from last year have stayed on. So maybe got a few new faces, a few from Wales, a few coming from abroad as well. So looking to see how they integrate into the squad and into our system and stuff.
Last year was exciting, you know, I was here last year and on this day, and it was exciting for me as a coach to come down to Twickenham and have this, and you could just see all the work the BUCS have done behind the scenes to promote the game through the live stream and the investment they've done, and you know, in our partnership with Yorkshire Carnegie, which we started in our second season with it. You know, it's really exciting. You know, it's good that we're linked with the pro clubs and people are seeing this as a genuine pathway to professional rugby, which is long may it continue.
I feel BUCS Super Rugby can sort of hopefully give that exposure as a player, as a team. We can sort of show to the streaming nation, also on BT Sport, what we can do as players, and hopefully sort of give us exposure that we can sort of get to the next level. For Leeds Beckett, success this year. Well, initially we're aiming for top 4, but we're ambitious boys, especially the boys coming in, boys who were there last year, proving a point. Boys coming in, like, we want to be here in March, like, we are ambitious, that's what we want to achieve.
Hopefully Cardiff might bring a expansive game of rugby, like that's our philosophy this year, but you know, I think it's important to find a balance between the expansive game of rugby that we're trying to produce and obviously the tight game. So you know, I think the best teams in the world kind of have a good balance between the both, so that's what we're trying to do, is just kind of have a balance between the nitty-gritty stuff and the expansive game that everyone enjoys watching. We put it well this year, obviously the help of the academy from the Cardiff Blues and the Dragons boys, but yeah, we've kept a good core group of players that have played and know what it's about to play in this BUCS Super Rugby last year. So you know, it's just about having the balance again between the new recruits and the excitement that they bring into the environment, but also keeping the core group of boys that know what it's like to travel these long distances. But yeah, look, you know, from a recruitment point of view, we've recruited well, so hopefully that we can carry that and take that into the season.
We've been through 5 weeks of pre-season now, where we've been really working on the strength and conditioning side of things. I think that's a big part to play. Ball in play last year for the BUCS Super Rugby was around about 37 minutes, so you're trying to develop an athlete who can, you know, physically manage the contact element of the sport, but also get some high-speed running in, and trying to manage that with sort of a high multi-skilled athlete, really. BUCS
Super Rugby has developed Cardiff Met in a whole bunch of ways, really. You know, bringing the big crowds down to Kincoy campus has helped us get up for games, but more importantly the social media side of things. So you know, sponsors and that have come out and helped the rugby club in the past year. So from the whole point of view, it's positive. Success this season for us is be able to be consistent on a week-to-week basis. Really, you know, the top teams last year in the Hargreaves and the Loughborough, they were able to be consistent from Wednesday to Wednesday. So you know, I think if we collectively put an importance on being consistent on a week-to-week basis, look, you know, I think results will take care of itself, and hopefully then, you know, we can maybe get some silverware and compete in this BUCS Super Rugby tournament this year.
Excellent to hear from both team captains there. Aled Evans, the Cardiff Met skipper, returning from injury to make his first start in a few weeks this evening. Let's take you through both team lineups. Minimal changes from both sides from the last outing. For Leeds Beckett, the home side, Ryan Evely, Tupolotu Nuku, Sam Theron, Stuart Nell, Adrian Wadden, Elliot Ward, keep an eye out for him, Tristan Lloyd, the captain, Toby Francis at number 8, making up that forward pack. Connor Lloyd, well, certainly one of the best number 9s we've seen in the BUCS Super Rugby this season. Outside him, at fly half, Sam Fox, the wingers of Harry Robson and Dan Leake. Big centre pairing, like to move the ball, Harry Collier at 12 and Dan Kelly at 13, with Charlie Venables a few tricks in his basket at fullback. Director of Rugby Colin Stevens for Leeds Beckett, and Kerry Wood, as we've just seen, on the captain introductions there, the head coach.
Well, I was speaking to Kerry Wood, and I asked him which players should we look out for tonight, and he said most of them, to be honest, singing the praises of Connor Lloyd at scrum half, their top scorer with 41 points. That puts him on BUCS number 5, but of course, as we'll see in a moment, on the other side you've got Tom Morgan for Cardiff Met, and what a talisman he's been so far this season.
So the Cardiff Met side then, Director of Rugby Danny Milton had a good chat with him and the head coach Ian Gardner yesterday and today. Very much looking forward to this. They had a good 4-hour journey up from Wales today. Managed to stop in Barnsley of all places for a little bit of lunch en route. Interestingly enough, Danny Milton was also lecturing at 9:30 this morning, so a big day for him. But anyway, in the front row, Sam Cochrane, Jack Fielding, Harry Seward. In the second row, Jack Arthur and Eduardo Baloco. Harvey Scott, well, that's a man that the coaches have pinpointed as somebody who could be very influential in this game today. Man of the match in last week's fixture. David Rubenask, Alid Evans, the captain, at number 8. Ben Williams and George Simpson, the halfback pairing. Jordan Roberts, very light of foot, on the left wing. Corey Wayne on the right. Tom Morgan, well, he's their kicker. Outside him at 13, Max Llewellyn. Interestingly enough, his dad, 92 caps for Wales in the second row, so he comes from good pedigree. Big 6'4" outside centre, and I'm sure he'll be saying to his opposite man, Dan Kelly, run at me today. Look for a good clash between them. And rounding up the Cardiff Met starting 15, Tom Benjamin at fullback.
Well, the team's just starting to come out, started with Cardiff Met, and it gives us a chance to reflect on how close this one could be. Both have been very potent in attack so far. Tom Morgan with 77 points so far this season. His consistency has certainly lifted the roof off their season, but where do you expect that key battle to be? You mentioned Llewellyn versus Kelly there, but some other key battles on the pitch perhaps?
Yeah, I think today at the breakdown is going to be a real interesting one. If Leeds are slightly slower to the breakdown at the rucks, and Cardiff managed to get their big men over the ball, well, they could see some turnover, but it could also stunt any counter-attack or fast ball that Leeds may get. So they'll be looking to their 9 and 10 in the form of Connor Lloyd and Sam Fox to marshal their forwards and retain possession. Leeds, well, they'll be playing from left to right in the purple shirts. Cardiff Met with the kickoff in the maroon and golden hoops. Temperature getting down towards 5 or 6 degrees here in West Yorkshire this evening.
Nothing they're not used to.
Certainly not. Both of these teams will be more than prepared for a chilly one. The track out there, well, it perhaps looks a bit bobbly, but it was nice and firm. The cold just crisping things up, and a great take from the kickoff by Stuart Nell off Leeds. Connor Lloyd and Sam Fox will look to clear, and Lloyd with the up and under, not gone to touch, but it's collected by the big number 8 for Cardiff Met, the captain, Alid Evans, returning to the team this week in replace of Alid Ward, the Welsh under-20 player and number 8. He's out injured. Ben Williams says, have one back, and that's still in play. But a good, excellent, in fact, kick chase. Managed to dump Leeds Beckett into touch there. And Cardiff Met will have a line out 35 metres out from the Beckett line. Interesting to see how Jack Fielding, the Met hooker, gets on here. Not a greasy ball, but it's not gone true to his man. So Beckett, the home side, looking to break away through Stuart now. Centre field, you can see him there with the straps on his thigh. Big contest in the middle of the field there. These two teams in the early stages really thrashing it towards each other.
They've certainly shown that they're up for this one from the outset. Stuart Nell going in there like a battering ram.
Boot to ball by Leeds, trying to gain some territory early on here, just not wanting to put themselves under any pressure. But it was a good kick chase, and they've managed to pin Cardiff back inside their own 10-metre line. But it is a penalty to the team from Wales, and they'll look to try and gain some territorial advantage of their own. Putting boot to ball for them will be Tom Benjamin, the fullback. You see him there, ball in hand, white long sleeves. Well, you certainly need that that underlayer tonight, keeping you warm. I've got 4 layers on, and I don't know about you, Alex, but I'm absolutely freezing.
That's one reason why we're not swapping the microphone for a pair of boots, perhaps. It's interesting, Scott. We talk about these teams both being so good in attack. Perhaps it might come down to who's better at reading the game and stopping the opposition from making progress.
Well, we've certainly already seen some big contests in the centre of the field. Good line-out retention from Cardiff as they crash up through Harvey Scott. Well, we mentioned him, highlighted by their director of rugby, Danny Milton, as somebody that loves to carry, loves to tackle, and they're already trying to come down this 15-metre channel. Tom Benjamin, the fullback, just getting grappled to the ground here, nudging their way inside the Beckett 10-metre line. 15 metres in from the near touchline, but Beckett have stolen it back. It's in the hands of Toby Francis, the number 8. Stolen ball there, sloppy handling from Cardiff Met. Connor Lloyd sends that one high into the dark Yorkshire sky. Well collected by Jordan Roberts. Roberts taking it into contact. Not often you see a winger with a head strapping on. But again, a bit of aerial ping pong. Sent back there, but the referee's blowing the whistle. Beckett physio's on the pitch, just signalling
head injury.
Yeah,
you might have heard the shout.
Hope Harry Collier's okay. The ball was coming directly for the injured man.
Well, it's been a scrappy start so far. Quite a few changeovers in possession. I guess both teams just feeling their way through these opening few minutes.
Yeah, certainly a cold night for it, and you do tend to see, particularly when there's such a game at stake like this. You know, these two teams, they're in the top 3. Cardiff are second in the league, the BUCS Super Rugby. Hashtag BUCS Super Rugby if you want to get involved. And Leeds Beckett, they're currently sitting in 3rd. Northumbria, of course, topping the table. Interesting that Leeds do have a game in hand to Cardiff, so if they can come away with a win tonight, then that will do them all the world of good and bump them up into 2nd in the table.
One result today, I've already seen Nottingham Trent beaten quite comfortably at home by Hartpury. 12 points down to Hartpury's 52.
The new boys of the league still finding it difficult to get their rhythm. Sitting bottom of the table, and incidentally enough, the home side here in tonight's Rugby Vertical BUCS Super Rugby fixture. Leeds Beckett, they finished rock bottom 8th in the BUCS Super Rugby 2017. So already substantially further ahead than they were at this time last season.
Well, both teams were battling down at the bottom, so they have improved. Interesting to note that the home side, Leeds Beckett, they did win the BUCS Rugby Championships in the 2014-2015 season, so not too many moons ago that they were at the top of University Rugby tier. And it's them with a scrum on their own 10-metre line, 15 metres in from this near touchline. Ball in the hands of Connor Lloyd. Solid platform. At the second time of asking, and Beckett trying to walk this one. Referee just trying to get Harvey Scott of Leeds to stay bound. A huge shove by Beckett. Lloyd just managing to get it away to Sam Fox. Sam Fox trying to find some support from his big men in the centres. They now look to try and use these outside channels. We said they can be dangerous out wide. Just going sideways a little bit there, and they need a bit more punch. Lloyd opting to go down the short side. A good skip and fleet of foot by Harry Robinson on that far touchline. The referee, though, just bringing it back. Played advantage. And it will be Leeds with the penalty back at the scrum. Good bit of play by Beckett. I have to say, the first scrum of the game, you really got to relish that head-to-head competition as the forward line, and they've done well from that.
Yeah, I'm sure the big boys up front for Beckett, Evelyn, Nuku and Theron, would have lapped that one up. And what front row doesn't love an evening like this? Cold, crisp Yorkshire evening.
It's not that cold for Yorkshire.
Probably not, but this is built for scrummaging tonight. Hopefully, though, for the passive viewer like us, Alex, we'll see plenty of running rugby and some tries to boot as well.
Yes, because if you were with us watching the highlights of the Cardiff Met against Loughborough game, there was so much trickery, including from the flankers and the wingers. David Rubazniak getting in on the action, as was Corey Wayne, both scoring tries against Loughborough. By the way, they conceded a couple themselves, but really strong in attack.
Tuipulotu Nuku with a throwing at the line out, and that has gone to a Beckett hand. So again, trying to use their forward power here to march this one closer to the Cardiff Met 22. Good shove though from the Welsh side, but it's Beckett still trundling forward here. Great attacking option. They're still walking. The referee telling Cardiff to get back on side. Walking this one forward. Counter shove there from Cardiff. Lloyd looking to move this onto the far touchline through the hands of Fox. The substitution, Ben Dixon, trying to make some yards here down the far touchline. Elliot Ward into contact, still going short, trying to make most of the space on the pitch here at the Sycamores ground, home of West Park, Leeds. Lloyd looks to go on his own, tries to sniffle out a gap, as all good scrum halves do, doesn't quite get there. Some forward muscle now. With one-up runners, they just need a bit more support. Nudging ever closer to the Cardiff line. Can they get over in the corner? It's going to be close. The players, I think they think they've got it. The referee, though, not quite sure. Looks as if he's just going to try and have a word with the touch judge. Interesting to see what they come back from here. Alex, did you see them get that down? It was quite tussled underneath.
It was difficult to see from this angle, wasn't it? But just look at how the determination paid dividends for Beckett. Everyone from the locks to the scrum half, as you said, just looking so much more organised. Cardiff Met sort of looking round as if to say, right, have we got this next man? So and they just need to reconfigure a little bit.
No try awarded then, and Leeds Beckett will have an attacking scrum 5 metres from the Cardiff Met try line, just inside that far touch. Connor Lloyd, the man to get this one moving. Prime attacking opportunity. Of course, we perhaps failed to mention that Harry Collier, the number 12 for Leeds Beckett, has gone off injured, and he has been replaced by Ben Dixon. Ben Dixon, number 20 there in the midfield. What a man mountain he is. Expect him to take the hard and straight line. The referee not happy with that one.
Well, a bit of pressure now on Cochrane and Harry Seward, the Cardiff props. Not such a good scrum a moment ago. Beckett made real progress, and now they just can't afford that to happen, having been let off a moment ago. Beckett certainly making the better start to the game on home territory.
Just a bit of communication there from the halfbacks, Lloyd and Fox of Beckett, making it clear. Really interesting to see how they've got a flat attacking line, Beckett. Whether or not they try and play this one around the back of the midfield and bring in their fullback, Charlie Venables. But a good counter shove from Cardiff Met in the scrum. Their boys at the front, Cochrane, Fielding and Seward. Huge shove. And the Welsh side are loving this. Pressure cooker when you've got a defending scrum on your own 5 metre line.
Yeah, that'd be really important for the team's confidence, because Beckett were just putting on quite a bit of pressure.
Quite a bit, an understatement.
Yeah.
Still, over 10 minutes played in this game. We've had no scores.
Cardiff Met have survived to an extent.
And they have. All the possession and all the territory for Leeds Beckett. The referee, though, just trying to have a bit of a word with a few of the players there. That heated discussion, you may politely say, after that scrum. Just trying to make sure that the game is played in the best spirit possible here this evening. In case you're wondering exactly where we are, the West Park Leeds ground, the Sycamores, beautiful area just outside Leeds. We're northwest of the Leeds city centre by about 4 miles. We're just north of Headingley, if you know the area. So if you've got nothing to do tonight, you know, friends, students, get them down here, try and support Leeds Beckett and Cardiff Met. Although perhaps a bit of a journey at this time of night from Cardiff if you're a Met fan. Fingers crossed you're listening to us from the SU. If you are, let us know. This is the Rugby Vertical BUCS Super Rugby live stream. Hashtag BUCS Super Rugby. If you want to get involved, let us know what you make of these early contests. Not the biggest of clearance kicks from Cardiff Met, but won the line out, and a little dink over the top from Ben Williams. Well collected though by Charlie Venables, the Leeds Beckett fullback. They have been penalised, and it was a good option in the end from Ben Williams, the Cardiff scrum half. They will have the put-in at the scrum, and that was an easy 15, 20, 25 metres almost there for Cardiff Met to gain.
Well, they'll want to try and grow into this game now, but you have to think about it, both teams have only lost one so far this season, so there's a bit of tension trying to maintain that record so close at the top.
Interesting to note that Leeds Beckett, well, they lost both fixtures against Cardiff last year. We played them in October and November, and they were very close games, 19 points to 10 and 20 points to 10. But a big run early, just knocked forward there in the contact. Again, the referee penalising the home side. Bit of afters once again. Stewart now for Beckett, getting slightly frustrated there. The referee, penalty to Cardiff Met. So it will be Tom Morgan, superstar kicker, and he's going to go for the posts. In games like this, when you know it will be close, points do mean prizes. So he's going to take an option off the tee, about 39 metres out, straight in front of the post here at West Park. Tom Morgan, 77 points this year in the BUCS Super Rugby League. As Alex has already mentioned, he's got about 75% accuracy, not quite as good as Connor Lloyd from Leeds, but he's still top of the point scoring tables. Let's see what that rocket right boot of his can do now. A big thump with that, and it's just gone to the right of the post. So Beckett will have the 22-metre dropout.
Well, perhaps we cursed him there by saying how consistent he was, but Cardiff Met as a team, obviously they're unbeaten in Cardiff, but they do have 69 kick points, the most in the league.
Once again sent high into the night sky. The Beckett chase perhaps not as tight as you would want. Tom Benjamin trying to send that one deep into the Beckett 22. A response from Venables, and that one hits the roof of the stand here at West Park. So Cardiff Met still inside the Leeds Beckett half. They will have the line out. The game, Alex, at the moment just becoming slightly passive, a little bit flat. We need a few of the big star men, which we've already highlighted in this game, to pick up the tempo.
Yeah, it was a really bright opening when Leeds Beckett, scrum half, Connor Lloyd was really pushing things and being the inspiration for his team, as he so often is. But now Cardiff Met trying to get back into it, and let's see what they can do here as they go in really hard, trying to build and move forward a bit of territory.
Corey Wayne coming in off his right wing there, taking a big punch through the heart of this purple defence. Good securing of possession, but a dink over the top from George Simpson. Well collected. Mark called by Harry Robinson. Robinson taking the quick tap and trying to go on his own, but he's scragged to the ground. The referee calling that one high, and it was indeed scragged round his neck. Penalty to Beckett. Relieves a bit of pressure. 25 metres out from their try line. Charlie Venables, the fullback, looking to send this one long, and it's a good boot indeed, and that will take Leeds Beckett inside the Cardiff Met half.
Well, I predict that Charlie Venables and Tom Benjamin from their position at fullback will have a lot of key decisions to make when to counter kick, but you sort of expect from a strong forward line to have a bit more pressure. Later you mentioned that the Beckett press wasn't that tight a few moments ago.
Well taken at the line out by Elliot Ward of Leeds Beckett. Elliot Ward, part of the Yorkshire Carnegie Senior Academy. Leeds Beckett announcing last month an extension of the link between the two sides. Yorkshire Carnegie currently in the Championship at pro level, but crashed through the middle now by their replacement centre Ben Dixon. Ben Dixon takes some stopping. Fell just inside the Cardiff Met 10-metre line. Nuku going on his own, needs some support runners. Well cleared out eventually. Beckett looking to go through another forward pod. Alec Davis, the captain, just getting rolled off in the tackle there for Cardiff Met. Lloyd again searching for some forward pods. Almost looked as if it was fumbled on the ground there, but well held by Beckett. Really hot defensive line from Cardiff Met. They're paying dividends as they managed to block out that Beckett attacking line. Connor Lloyd still looking to use the big man. Almost broken through there by Stuart Now. Now needing some support, but quick ball from the ruck as Robinson looks to trundle down that far touchline. Lloyd trying to go on his own, looking for some support. Good reader of the game is Connor Lloyd, the number 9 from Leeds Beckett.
We've had a lot of really short crunch passes as players try and free up the ball and then go straight into the next tackle, but now Beckett, just as they did about 10 minutes ago, making quite a bit of progress just through sheer determination.
Trying to go around the outside now. Leeds Beckett in the hands of Dan Kelly. Dan Kelly almost getting scragged into touch. It's kept into the palms of the left winger, Harry Robinson. Harry Robinson going on his own. Can he break off more tackles? 3, 4, 5 Met would-be tacklers not getting a close grip. They're still trying to go through the middle now in the hands of fly half Sam Fox. Connor Lloyd looking to go to the left now, finds a forward runner in the form of their hooker Nuku. Again, is that a score over the line? The referee, well, I couldn't quite see that one, Alex. I'm not sure about you.
Didn't look like it from my point of view.
The supporters up on the balcony here at West Park
might have had the best view.
Well, I think if they call this back for a penalty, and it will be Connor Lloyd who has the option and is taking the option to try and get the first score of the game here. At West Park, the Sycamores tonight, we've got numerous under 10s and 11s, boys and girls, which is fantastic to see, training on the pitch next to us. So there is umpteen whistles going at once. But Connor Lloyd here looking to take first blood for Leeds Beckett in this BUCS round 7 Super Rugby contest, and that's straight through the sticks. So 20 minutes played here and Leeds Beckett lead 3 points to Cardiff's 0.
And it's nothing they haven't deserved, quite frankly.
No, they
seem to have been more organised.
They've been stuck down in that Cardiff half for the first quarter almost indefinitely.
Connor Lloyd now moves on to 44 points for the season. We mentioned quite a bit about Tom Morgan, obviously missed that slightly more difficult kick earlier on. Just a chance to mention quickly a couple of scores in some of the other games. Loughborough are playing Durham and they're 19 points to 3 at half time, and Exeter are up against Bath 21-7.
It will be the Cardiff Met outside half. George Simpson with the blonde highlights in his hair, sending that one high. Well taken though by Adrian Wadden, a name we haven't mentioned yet, in the second row, number 5 for Leeds Beckett. But Connor Lloyd putting that one high, almost well collected by Dan Leake, the right wing for Beckett. Met now looking to move this one wide. They're going through the middle of the pitch. Some quick-footed stepping from Jordan Roberts of Cardiff. Working the ball towards this near touchline now. They have numbers over, looking to go on their own. Into the hands of Bolocco. Bolocco taking it into contact just in front of us here at West Park. Some good tempo on the ball now, but a huge contest in the tackle in the middle of the pitch there. It looks as if it was Jack Fielding from Cardiff Met getting the brunt of a Beckett hit. A left-footed grubber from Tom Morgan. Doesn't quite go into touch. Just about fumbled in. Well, that was an interesting option from Tom Morgan. He saw the line was flat from Leeds Beckett. But it will be the home side who have throw-in at the line-out. Alex, a bit more intensity, a bit more tempo there from the Cardiff Met side. Almost,
a little bit more.
Almost as if that scorer's liven them up a little bit.
Just a taster of things that might come. They know now they have to try and get into the game, but a few of the Cardiff Met players we haven't really seen much of. George Simpson, not really able to start any moves, not really able to organise the team quite from the back, and Rubasniak, who had so many beautiful tricks to beat the opposition against Loughborough a week ago, hasn't quite got through the gears yet. So we need a bit more from the engine room here of the Cardiff Met team, just passing it around, trying to build.
A wayward kick from Beckett, not going into touch and providing an ample counter-attacking opportunity. Met playing it through the hands of their back three, and eventually taken into contact by Tom Morgan. Max Llewellyn there, the outside centre, just not quite taking full possession of that pass. So that is a knock-on. That means Leeds will have the scrum. Centre of their half, 20 metres in from this near touchline. Leeds Beckett, if you've just joined us, playing from left to right in this first half in the purple strip, with the away side, Cardiff Met, in the maroon and golden hoops. We're live on the Rugby Vertical BUCS Super Rugby stream this evening for this BUCS Super Rugby Round 7 fixture. Beckett lead 3 points to Cardiff Met's 0, courtesy of the boot of scrum half Connor Lloyd. That will have certainly done his 92% kicking accuracy for this season no harm at all. But that last counter-attacking move from Cardiff Met showing glimpses of the attacking rugby we could see. But for the moment we stick with the scrum.
Yeah, just collapsing there. I think Cardiff Met haven't been the best, I think it's fair to say, the scrums we've seen so far.
Certainly have to agree with you on that.
Although they did manage a steal, a counter punch in the first one.
Just look at the steam coming off that. Talk about forwards being hot-headed. That's what winter rugby's all about. Wednesday night up in West Yorkshire. Steam, it's like cooking a pan of spaghetti down there at the scrum at the moment. Connor Lloyd with the put-in at the scrum for Leeds Beckett. Great shove though from Cardiff.
That's better.
And the referee, well, he's penalised Beckett. Or has he? No, I thought he would awarded that. Reversed his decision. But at the third time of asking now, Leeds Beckett will have the put in at the scrum. A much better shove from Cardiff Met. Aled Evans, the captain at number 8 there. You can just see with the wraps around his lower thighs. Big shove from him at the back just to try and marshal his forward pack. Interesting kicking contest we've seen between the two scrum halves so far. Connor Lloyd and Ben Williams. Bit of aerial ping pong from them. "27 minutes played here at West Park. The players and their enigmatic running so far, not allowing this pitch to thaw over. But taken from the back of the scrum by number 8, Toby Francis. His back row colleagues come for some support. Connor Lloyd opting for the box kick, once again being chased down by Dan Leake, but well taken by Cardiff Met's Jordan Roberts. Again, we'll see what you can do, I can do better by Ben Williams. Well chased by Corey Wayne, the Cardiff right wing, but just slips off the tackle there. And the referee penalising Leeds Beckett for holding on at the breakdown, and he's marched them back a further 10 metres. So this is the best attacking opportunity we've seen so far in this game from Cardiff Met. Will they kick for the corner? And it looks as if that's exactly what George Simpson, their fly half, is going to do here. Can't miss him on the pitch tonight with those blonde highlights. Gives that a sweet little nudge. And Alex, it's the first time we've really seen Cardiff Met with an opportunity inside the red zone.
Yeah, they just haven't quite carried the ball as well, I don't think, and Leeds Beckett have been pretty strong in the tackle. And, you know, as we know, they could well have been further behind by now. A couple of shouts, it could have been tries.
Jack Fielding with the line out. Interesting to see the West Park Junior girls training in the background, but for the moment we stick with the line out and the rolling maul, which has now gone to ground. So momentum killed by a strong Beckett forward pack. Cardiff still trying to go, but they're being ushered sideways and ushered backwards. They have numbers over to this near side through the hands of Simpson. Can he put somebody away? Into the hands of Fielding. Fielding looks as if he'd slid in the corner there, but just stopped inches short of the try line. Narrowly staying in touch. Almost looked like it was a head on the whitewash there, but Cardiff working hard here to work their way closer to this Beckett line. Needing some muscle, needing some leadership from Aled Davis, who comes in at the back of the ruck there. He takes this one in. Scrum half Ben Williams, number 9 there, shouting and barking orders like a military general. He moves the ball wide now through Simpson. Simpson into the hands of Llewellyn, who takes it on the short crash ball. Met pressing ever closer as they come underneath the posts here. Can they get closer? It's Harvey Scott on the ball. Almost over the line, but they have numbers over to the right. They don't need it. And it's Cardiff Met with the first try here at West Park this evening. Struggling to work out who that one was, but I think it was right winger Corey Wayne who came in off his wing. And Corey Wayne, number 14 for Cardiff Met, takes the first score and puts them in the lead for the first time. And not a bad outing. One trip into the Cardiff 22. Like a military general. 22, and they come away with a score. Wide now through Simpson.
What a tigerish attempt to try and turn the tables here, having survived so much pressure. Just look at the way that Ben Williams keeps going, feeding the ball out to the right-hand side again and again. It's a great attempt by Harvey Scott, so close, as we nearly called it. And then finally, the all-important touch.
I think it was the man who's taking the kick who actually scored that. Tom Morgan with the try. We saw from the way that Corey Wayne was celebrating, I thought he might have got it down, but it was Tom Morgan, and he has an opportunity here to convert his own try. And that's what you want from your inside centre, crashing through the smallest of holes. And he's much better off the tee this time.
Very, very important for his confidence, that. You wouldn't want to miss your first 2 kicks in this game. Now he's scored in excess of 80 points.
This season?
Yeah, 84 points now this season.
If he'd scored 80 points this game, I think that would be some sort of world record. It would be like the Hulk playing
number one in Super Rugby this season.
Leeds sending that one deep, but unfortunately it's not on point, and that's gone straight out. So Cardiff Met, well, another opportunity here, a great position to attack from. They will have a scrum on the halfway line. Centre field, bang in the middle, and Ben Williams, well, he was the orchestrator of that attack and that score by Tom Morgan. Another opportunity here to press claim for another dent in this Leeds Beckett defensive line. So big shove again. We've seen some issues at the scrum. The referee already not liking that. Ali Davis takes a quick tap. George Simpson with a dink over the top into the corner, and that one has rolled nicely inside, or just outside it seems to be, of the Beckett 22.
What you can see for the last 3 moments is Cardiff Met, when they really get going, they really find gaps to be able to exploit the space, and fantastic vision and awareness, particularly from Ben Williams. Let's see if they can keep up that persistence here. Have been pretty strong from the lineouts so far.
The Tongan Tuipulotu Nuku with the ball in his hands. He's been good so far at the lineout, and he's good once again into the palms of Stuart Nell. His second row. Interesting there. We've seen so far Connor Lloyd looking to send that high, but picking a one-up runner just to buy himself some more time, recycle some of these forwards to set up a bit of a platform. So they've now worked their way outside of their own 22. They can't kick this straight into touch. So they need a good chase here. And on that far touch, Harry Robinson chases like his life depends on it, but he doesn't quite get there. It's taken by Jordan Roberts. Or rather, Corey Wayne, the number 14. Both the Cardiff Met wingers chopping and changing sides. A long sweeping pass, but well, that was straight down my throat, and it was certainly forward, and the referees called that. So the referee awarding possession to Leeds Beckett. We've got a little bit of an injury here for what appears to be Adrian Wadden. Perhaps a bit of cramp, Alex. Bit of cold.
Yeah, it's the second time the physio's been on the pitch, of course. Already had one substitution that looked like a much more serious head injury, but see, and we're not that far from the end of the first half, and it's been a first half of quite a few different phases. Leeds Beckett seemed more up for it at the start, and then it wasn't really until the penalty was scored that Cardiff Met suddenly really reacted and seemed to have a lot more cohesion and better reactions. They've also got one player down, and their physio is on the pitch. Max Llewellyn.
Corey Wayne, I think that is the right wing. He took it into contact there from the catching the kick, and he ran that hard. And it's not so easy when you're a right wing taking it in against a huge forward pack that Leeds Beckett have. So the players here perhaps just starting to get a bit colder while this period of play takes a pause. Both teams though, Alex, nobody's really taking the game by the scruff of the neck. It's been slightly too passive. There's been a bit of sloppy accuracy, as we saw with the forward pass with the last play there. Who would you say has been on top despite the scoreline in this game?
I've been more impressed with Leeds Beckett. I mean, of course, they expect to really take the game to Cardiff Met at home, despite being, you know, only one place below them in the table. They've both only lost one game so far this season. And Leeds Beckett have actually been really impressive away so far, where they haven't lost. Cardiff Met that are unbeaten at home. But actually, you know, it's only going to get colder, and the wind's only going to pick up. So, as it is at the moment, you can just see bottom right-hand corner of your screen as we zoom in the flag fluttering there. That's usually the way you can tell. Because the shorts they wear are quite tight, so they don't tend to flutter. But yeah, it's Leeds Beckett that if anyone has tried to take it by the scruff of the neck, they have. But look at how Cardiff Met have responded. Let's see how this scrum goes.
Just an update, Adrian Wadden, the second row for Leeds Beckett, has gone off injured, so that's 2 men they've now lost to injuries, and I believe it is Jack Scott Gray who's coming in the row, but we will confirm that in just a few moments. Roberts for Cardiff Met, trying to set up some form of attack from deep inside his own half. Quick-footed winger, if they can get him in some space, I'm sure he will be deadly. Using the forwards at the moment though, set up a bit of a platform. The referee calling high tackle, so it is a penalty to Cardiff Met. They have a chance to further clear their lines here and send this one as deep as possible. Around about 5 minutes left to play in this first half. Just to confirm for you, it is Nick Ridding, number 19, who has come on as a replacement for Adrian Wadden in the second row. Fresh pair of legs. I'm sure he'll be delighted to have got moving here. We were watching some of the West Park juniors walk in front of us here. They don't seem cold one bit. We're sitting here shivering. Great put in at the line out from Jack Fielding. Simpson through the hands of the try scorer Tom Morgan, talisman in this Cardiff Met side. They looked as if they got some real quick ball off that line out, but just being penalised there, and possession once again changing hands. Beckett through the boot of Harry Collier, who has come back on the pitch following his head injury. He's well now wearing a scrum hat, so he's only just come back on the pitch. Head injury assessment for him clearly went well. He's been allowed to return to the field of play. Of course, a very serious issue this year in 2017 for head injuries with players, and player welfare, phrase that's been repeated so often, and good to see a bit of safety from Harry Collier going off initially, but good to see him back on the field of play. Leeds Beckett good with the line out. Nuku at the back of the maul, walking this one forward, and they have some great momentum here, like a herd of buffalo trundling down West Park here. Beckett, the home side. Lloyd, the scrum half, now looking to use it through the hands of Fox, playing it around the back into the hands of their left winger, Harry Robinson. Harry Robinson being tackled 30 metres out here. Still down this near side. Nuku's going on his own. They need some support runners. Dan Leake, the right wing, going into support, but a great run, bouncing off a few players. Tuipulotu Nuku. Slow ball here, perhaps not what they would have wanted. It's been taken in and pushed sideways. Ryan Evely. The Beckett prop forward. Lloyd darting that pass out into the palms of Sam Theron. Beckett still have it despite the cries of Cardiff Met thinking they'd stolen it. Just working their way now into the Cardiff 22 metres. You sense the heat is building for Beckett to try and get their first try of this game as we approach half time. Almost 40 minutes played in this round 7 BUCS Super Rugby fixture. Into the hands of Collier. Collier steps one. He's just come back on the pitch after a head injury assessment. Almost rolls over the try line. The referee blowing his whistle there doesn't seem so happy with Cardiff Met. It looks as if they were killing the ball through Jack Arthur just lying on top. Trying to work out what he's penalising them for. And he is going to put his hand in his pocket. It's a yellow card for Jack Arthur. Lying on top of the ball, killing the play, as it were. So he'll spend 10 minutes in the bin. And if there's as good a time as any for Leeds Beckett to score well, it's just before half time.
But Cardiff Met, for a moment there, I think just desperate in defence. Beckett varying it up with short crunch passes and then really resisting everything the defence trying to throw at them in terms of tackles.
Beckett taking the option to kick for the corner. They will have a line out 5 metres from the Cardiff try line. Interesting with Jack Arthur there, who's clearly killing the ball as he lay on top of Harry Collier, who we thought was just going to bundle over, just keep rolling. But a lot of coaches would perhaps say they prefer to give a yellow card than a try. Let's see if they can wait this one out to half time. Breaking away at the back through Ryan Evely. Again with the ball in hand, the Beckett prop forward. Lloyd trying to go on his own, can't shirk off the hits of the Met big men. No scrum half, so it'll have to be a forward that takes this one off the back, and they do. Good counter tackle from Cardiff Met. Beckett trying to gain some momentum again now. Rolling this one forward. Their general, Connor Lloyd, is at the back now. He's marshalling his players. Bounced off a few feet. Nuku trying to go on his own. 3 tackles to bring the big hooker down. Trying to roll over there is Harry Robinson, the left wing. What's he doing at the bottom of the ruck? 2 metres from the line. Again, a big crash ball. Trying to dot it over the post. Another good defensive tackle from Cardiff Met. They have numbers over to this near touchline. Through the hands, out wide, and it's dotted over in the corner. Nice and simply by Dan Leake. Some great communication there from Connor Lloyd and Sam Fox. And a great final pass to send it 20 metres into the corner. Leeds Beckett, the home side. A great time to score, we said, Alex. Dan Leake, their first try of the game.
There's just so much determination from Leeds Beckett. Just seeing how far they can go. Players over there to the right-hand side. As you said, desperate defending from Cardiff Met. Again, so close. And you'll see in the moment. So they continue to feed the ball out. Nuku's been so strong. All over the pitch. And finally there, it's so simple for Dan Leake in the end. But the hard work had been done by so many players on the team. Getting on the ball, driving forwards.
Cardiff Met there just perhaps suffering from the one less man. They came short up on this near touchline, and when you're trying to defend against such an offensive Leeds Beckett forward pack, you're having to bring more men in from out wide to try and defend the close quarters. Well, you prefer to them to score out wide than under the sticks. Oh, well, if it was upright challenge, Connor Lloyd would have bagged himself a pint there, but Leeds go into the half-time break. 8 points to Cardiff Met 7. What a time to score just before half-time. We saw the first blood come from Leeds Beckett through the boot of Connor Lloyd. Tom Morgan, the Cardiff Met captain, responded with a try and conversion. And just before half-time, in the last few minutes, Dan Leake, the Leeds Beckett right wing, he scored in the corner, dotted over. almost had to walk it in, didn't he? But both teams there opting to go in.
And it's the advantage that you'd expect Leeds Beckett to have on balance of play from what we've seen in this first half. It's almost as though, you know, cold weather we talked about, but I think just Leeds Beckett a little bit more up front at the start. We're sort of shaking here from our commentary position, but the way that Leeds Beckett just seem to see, let's see how far we can get forward, how much share of territory can we gain. Cardiff Met looking around, trying to organise themselves, that back line just not quite able to throw enough at them to stop Beckett from getting the try at the end there, and it was the case early on. They could have had more, they could have been further ahead.
Yes, we've not seen as much as you perhaps hope from Jordan Roberts, Max Llewellyn and Corey Wayne of Cardiff Met. You know, those are some really fast runners for them out wide, and they've not managed to bring them into the game as of yet. But there's still 40 minutes left to play, and I think Cardiff would be happy to go in with a point behind. They'd obviously like to have gone in with the lead, but who doesn't really want to go in with the lead? But
well, it's always good to know that you have scored a try.
Yeah, exactly.
That you've done the business.
Exactly. They did take first blood, so they'll be looking for more of the same. They'll just try and hold on a little bit longer. But the good news for them, perhaps, is that Connor Lloyd didn't get the conversion at the end of that half there. So let's take you through the highlights now.
The driving forces there was Nuku.
From 14 minutes, we had this penalty attempt 39 metres out, straight in front of the sticks from the big man Tom Morgan of Cardiff Met. Didn't quite manage to strike it straight and true. Enough height, enough length, almost sent that into Leeds city centre, but not the accuracy you would have hoped for.
Yeah, and then this is take two with Cardiff Met with their backs against the wall.
Trying to get towards this Cardiff Met line. Again, the big man from the front row, Tuipulotu Nuku, always carrying ball. What an engine that fella has. So that was a three-pointer for first blood from Connor Lloyd of Leeds Beckett.
And then suddenly, look at the awareness here of Ben Williams, the number 9. As one go, again, they come within inches. Williams again. And this time they do make it on that right-hand side. And Morgan effectively redeeming himself.
Converting his own try as well. A lovely little from George Simpson, I think it was, to put Morgan through the hole for his first score of the game.
So you got a sense there of what Cardiff Met can do when they're really creative and exploit and read the game really well. They just needed a bit more of that team cohesion, and you feel as though with only being 1 point behind, it's all to play for in the second half.
Definitely. I mean, that was the first time that we'd seen Cardiff Met enter the Leeds Beckett half on their own accord without a kicking contest, but we have probably seen slightly too much aerial ping pong in the first half. Probably both teams not really aware of how they want to play the game, or just perhaps that they're being slightly cautious considering the cold conditions. But I'm expecting that in the final quarter of this game, both teams try and break away with a bit more running rugby.
So let's say that you're the coaches in the dressing room at half time. What are you saying to Leeds Beckett and likewise to Cardiff Met?
What I'd be saying to Leeds Beckett is just keep your hands on the ball, be patient, try and cut out some of the sloppy areas they've had at the breakdown and just fumbling the ball. Keep the ball in hand more. Connor Lloyd's got a really good tactical kicking game, but I wouldn't be sending it up in the air without a good chase. If they're going to send it up, they've got to get men underneath the ball. At the minute, they're just trying to send one-up runners in the form of Dan Leake and Harry Robinson on the wing. They need more people. They need a solid line to try and stop that Cardiff counter-attack, because in the Cardiff backs, I mean, Jordan Roberts, we're seeing little bits of him, but that guy's got some serious feet. He's got some serious wheels. If they can put him away down the tracks and, you know, on the touch, then if he's got a bit of space, who knows what he can do. So I'd be trying to avoid putting it through into the backs in the back three of Cardiff Met. We've just got some fireworks, you might be able to tell us. You know, bonfire night going on still a few days late up in the northwest, but let's see in the second half which team brings the house down.
Who's plotting to win this one?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. It's certainly not Guy Fawkes, is it?
Well, the thing is that once Cardiff Met got Leeds Beckett really pinned back, you saw that they were quite comfortable in that position, and they are kind of like Duracell batteries with the energy of the flankers and the wingers. Rybasniak and Wayne both have great flicks, and against Loughborough, Wayne scored with a fantastic little arching run, and really looked at home. When they get that trickery right, they can do a lot of things to try and score tries.
Yeah, Cardiff Met will certainly be looking for their back row. Harvey Scott, Rybasniak and their captain Ali Evans to really come into the game here and start trying to win them some ball at the breakdown. Danny Milton was singing the praises of Harvey Scott before the game. He's somebody that does a lot of work, makes a lot of tackles, and puts his body really in the deep end, if you like. And
we've not seen enough of that.
We've not seen enough of it, and it's been perhaps the conditions, perhaps Leeds Beckett stifling that a little bit. But we've seen errors from both teams, and what we need is more of the last 15 minutes for that first half. Really, a couple of scores. Tom Morgan getting down into the red zone, trying to break through some holes. Try and bring big Max Llewellyn as well. He's a 6'4" outside centre. I mean, he's not really said to Dan Kelly as of yet, run at me. And he's not managed to get any ball in hand where he can do an outside arc.
There was the forward pass just at the end of the first half there, wasn't there?
Just got to put it through the hands, really, Cardiff Met. And I think there's opportunities for both teams here. They've just got to evaluate the space a little bit better on the pitch and try and open up some holes.
Just a word for Harry Collier, because of course he looked like he had a worrying head injury, went off and then came back on. So it's good from the player's point of view. No one wants to come off with an injury, so to be able to be assessed and then come back on wearing a scrum hat.
Yeah, interestingly, he came back on with a scrum hat as well, but he was actually very, very influential in the score at the end of that half for Leeds Beckett. He was almost going to roll over. He was the man at the bottom of the ruck, which caused Jack Arthur, the Cardiff Met man, to get the yellow card for penalising play, and it was subsequently from that scrum that they scored in the corner with Dan Leake, the right winger. So yeah, Harry Collier, they didn't exactly have a terrible replacement to bring on. Ben Dixon was more than happy to crash from 30-metre run-ins. So if he does happen to go off again, Harry Collier, we hope he's okay, and he seems to be all right, and he was clearly good at the end of that first half, but they've got a good set of bench to bring on.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you said, a few errors from both sides, but hopefully a warm-up at half-time, a chance to see where they went wrong perhaps, and there's every chance that just ironing out a few mistakes and working out where the key decisions are will make the difference. Now you'd mentioned the battle between Llewellyn and Kelly is one you marked out before the game. How do you think it's petered out so far?
Yeah, perhaps we've just not seen enough ball outside the 10 or 12 really. It's been kept in close quarters as much as possible, but those two guys could certainly come into the game in the second half, and if we can see the ball being played more from outside the 10 and 12, there's going to be a lot more opportunities to score tries, because there is space on this pitch, and we've seen some good tactical kicking in the first half, which is great to see. Both teams really aware of what's going on around them, but let's try and see. We're here to see tries really, and you've got all these West Park juniors who've been here training on a Wednesday night. It's cold, they want to watch a game and they want to see some tries, so I'm sure that everybody at home wants to see that as well.
Yeah, hopefully. So we wait for the teams to come out in the second half in a few moments time. You're watching the BUCS Super Rugby here, and get in touch, #BUCS Super Rugby on Twitter. Other games of course happen tonight. We'll give you an update on the scores in a few moments time, but this is a really important top of the table clash. Cardiff Met in second and Leeds Beckett in third, so really there's a lot of pride at stake. Northumbria currently leading the way at the moment, but both of these teams have great pedigree in this competition, Super Rugby or otherwise.
Yeah, of course. I mean, last year was the first year of the BUCS Super Rugby, and Cardiff finished 7th, Leeds finished 8th. Not the best start, but they've clearly improved over the summer. I think for Cardiff Met, the 3G pitches really helped them back at home. But back in 2014, 2015, both of these teams came away with some BUCS silverware. Cardiff Met won the Vars, and Leeds Beckett won the Rugby Championship at Twickenham. So, these core groups, they understand what the history is in BUCS Rugby. They understand how to win, and they've got those credentials. And we're almost back for the second half. We'll try and update you with any changes. We'll certainly try and bring you an update from Loughborough, where our other evening fixture is this evening. In this second half, Leeds Beckett play from right to left. Cardiff Met from left to right. Beckett in the purple shirts. Captain Alid Evans for Cardiff Met, taking the ball from the kickoff there and crashing it straight back up. Good to see him back from injury. Taking the place of another Alid Ward at number 8 from Cardiff Met. Out with injury this week, but he is a Welsh under-20 player, so they have talent in droves down in Cardiff.
Quick update on the scores in the other matches. It's 26-10 between Loughborough and Durham, and Exeter a 33-7 up on Bath, with James McRae and Felix Madison among their try scorers.
Incidentally, we will see both of these two teams playing next week. Of course, there's 9 teams in the BUCS Super Rugby this year after the promotion of Nottingham Trent, which means not every team plays every week. But Hartpury play Leeds next week, next Wednesday, and that's also on the BUCS Super Rugby stream. And Cardiff Met play Exeter down at Topsham also on Wednesday. So a week turnaround for these two teams. Big scrum there though. Much better setup than we saw in the first half. Simpson. Wow, he's taking the option of the big Gary Owen. And up and under. Chase not quite there, but it's fumbled by Leeds Beckett. Now they're 15 metres out from their own try line, and the pressure is on as Cardiff have stolen it. Alid Evans taking it on, a little bit of a hitch kick, a step back inside, taking the ball into contact. Simpson going on his own, he needs some support. He's joined by Llewellyn, his outside centre, who secures possession. Williams moving the ball to the far touchline. They're looking for some space, there's not much there. A tight Beckett defence bringing them down. Great intent at the start of this second half by Cardiff Met. You certainly wouldn't tell that they're still only down to 14 men, and they have won a penalty, and they take it quick. No, they don't take it quick. Harry Seward just being warned off by his number 9 Ben Williams there. Alid Evans, the captain, just taking a moment to breathe. And Tom Morgan taking the option to try and go for the posts.
Well, having shown some signs of promise, I mean, there's every reason we thought Cardiff Met might come out in the second half and think, look, we've done half the job, we just need to be a little bit more organised and just need to have a few better reactions.
Important for them, despite only being 1 point behind, to keep the scoreboard ticking over. Tom Morgan, try scorer in the first half. It's almost their second visit to the Leeds Beckett 22 in this game, and Tom Morgan's potentially going to come away with all the points. Challenging kick.
Yeah, and one hit, one miss, of course, so far.
Kicking back towards the West Park clubhouse. He's hit that one hard. He's hit it straight, but not quite straight enough, as that is not successful for Tom Morgan. Interesting style of run-up. He runs almost very head-on to it. Second one he's missed this evening. Still, not to worry. Only 3 minutes played in this second half. A good option from Cardiff Met. They are down to 14 men after the sin-binning of Jack Arthur just before half-time. Met already trying to run it. A poor chase from Leeds Beckett, which is what we mentioned during the half-time break. Harry Simpson just fumbling slightly, but managing to keep his gloves on it. Good tactical option though from Williams. Williams trying to send that one into the corner, and that has rolled very neatly indeed. And clearly the message from Danny Milton and Ian Gardner of Cardiff Met at half-time is to put Leeds Beckett back in their 22. We didn't see enough of it in the first half, and it's certainly been something we've seen a lot of at the start of this second half.
Yeah, but you can see just when Ben Williams really gets some of the ball and has a bit of time and is able to use that great vision of his to pick out a pass or a kick. Really works well. I mean, of course, May need some protecting at times as Leeds Beckett go forward in numbers. But we're seeing more and more of Cardiff Met getting forward now.
Conor Lloyd trying to go on his own down the short side. Found a little bit of space, but scragged to the ground by David Rubasniak. And again, some great intent, great tempo from not only Cardiff, Conor Lloyd of Beckett showing some there, but Cardiff over everything at the moment in this game. They will have a line out via the hands of Jack Fielding. 28 metres out from the Beckett try line. Just knocked back from the line out there. Fumble at the moment, nobody can pick it up. Butterfingers. The referee, I don't think he's sure whose hand that went forward off.
Yeah, they had to be a bit sharper there as they tried to regroup following a strong line out, but Nuku has been so good at these so far. He's barely put a foot wrong.
Slipped through the fingers of Stewart now there. But Beckett still have possession from the line out, just inside their own half by this near touch line. Lloyd sending that one high into the night sky. Much better chase. Palmed back from Harry Robinson, but it bounced off the shoulder of the Cardiff Met scrum half, Ben Williams. Beckett creating some sort of attacking platform here. A bit more pace on the ball from them, trying to find a gap. The referee just bringing it back though for crossing. And Cardiff, well, they have won back possession. And Harry Simpson is going to send this one as far as he can into the Leeds Beckett half, and I think as he does, we may see the sin binning of Jack Arthur, the second row for Cardiff Met, come back on the pitch. So a lot more intensity in this second half, Alex. Both teams playing with intent. You sense that the bit of heat in the changing rooms at half time certainly paying dividends.
Yeah, and if both teams show a bit more strength than Cardiff Met, try and match what Leeds Beckett have shown in terms of powerful play, then we could have a really, really close matchup. Because in the first half it was sort of one team dominating for a short phase and then the other taking over, but plenty of changes in possession so far. So just take a moment to regroup.
Had a bit of an injury again to a Leeds Beckett player just inside, or just near our commentary booth here. But all is well in the Beckett world. They lead in this BUCS Super Rugby round 7 fixture. Tonight we're at the Sycamores, West Park Leeds Rugby Union Football Club. Remember, drop us a message, hashtag BUCS Super Rugby. This is the Rugby Vertical live stream. Straight off the line out for Cardiff Met, crashing up. Big cheers from Leeds Beckett though. The referee can't quite make out what he was penalising Cardiff for there. They had good quick ball, but it is a scrum to Leeds Beckett. Conor Lloyd just marshalling his backs. Bit of communication with outside half Sam Fox. Sam Fox, a silent assassin in this game so far, just setting up. He's forward for the big carries and his backs. But it looks as if they are going to run this one. They are nice and deep. But at first, it's a big shove at the scrum. Cardiff Met looking to have the ascendancy at the scrum, but Conor Lloyd's done very well to pick that one off his number 8's toes. He has support though, and they're looking to go here via the hands of Toby Francis. Toby Francis charging down that far touchline. Lloyd putting it into the hands of Tristan Lloyd, his captain, the number 7. Again, quick ball. Beckett through Dan Kelly. Working hard, just cutting through a hole. The referee, though, agonisingly close for Beckett, saying that pass just went forward well. Absolutely unfortunate for Leeds Beckett.
Brilliant. Starting off though from Connor Lloyd. Just saw a gap, kept going, and Cardiff Met just slightly unprepared there. Eventually they regrouped and got themselves back together, but then Lloyd had another go, but so many players there got involved. Tristan Lloyd you mentioned as well. Dan Kelly.
Interesting to see how they managed to make the most of a situation which perhaps wasn't ideal for them. The scrum was going backwards. The Lloyds, Tristan Lloyd and Connor Lloyd, working really hard off a scrum that was going backwards. But interesting again to see that Ryan Evely has come off and Conrad Cade has come on in the scrum for Leeds Beckett. Conrad Cade, number 16, just closest to us there. Didn't really get a chance to put a shove on that. And Cardiff Met now get a chance to clear their lines. The scrum been an area of contention so far in this game.
Yeah, and it's interesting that Leeds Beckett have made that substitution, because you have to feel that on the balance of the forwards play, that Beckett have had quite an advantage there. Nuke has been really strong. They've been pretty good in all the scrums that we've had so far. Although Cardiff Met are starting to get back to basics and really put in some short passes and hit the defenders hard.
And there we see Dan Kelly palming people off like he's in the playground. Connor Lloyd, the scrum half, trying to take on the full brunt of the Cardiff Met. Forwards there managed to come out just unscathed, I think, but highlighting why your kicks should be going into touch if that's your intention, because just given Leeds Beckett easy ball to counter-attack, and that's what they're doing at the moment. Connor Lloyd,
yeah, again they've let him
trying
run
to put Nuku through a hole. He marches forward. Lloyd again trying to pick out some support. He finds Sam Fox, doesn't quite have the time to get it out, and he's been penalised for holding on at the scrum, and just where we were about 2 minutes ago. Cardiff Met will have another opportunity through the boot of George Simpson to put this one into the Leeds Beckett half. Frantic passage of play, but again it just seems to be that Leeds Beckett are the team with the territory in possession, but not quite having the nous to work their way into the red zone.
Yeah, certainly, but it's great to see some real pace added to the game. It was one thing that was perhaps missing from the first half, but you can just see how they can use Connor Lloyd in those situations. Suddenly he's away and is able to pass really well and find teammates with fantastic awareness. But Harry Collier, who was crucial at the end of the first half after coming back on, and Dan Kelly, they're really almost able to kick and pass just as well as the good centres pairings usually are.
And that has been stolen by Leeds Beckett. The line out tapped back by Stuart Nell. Nuku again, what a marathon man, the hooker. He's always got his palms on the ball, working his way forward, trying to gain some yards. Dinked over the top by Connor Lloyd. Difficult one to collect for Tom Benjamin. He manages to do so successfully, but off his left boot is charged down. The ball is in his hands again though, Benjamin. Now 5 metres out from his own try line. Cardiff Met relieving their lines finally, but it's not gone into touch. And they have another opportunity to attack. Harry Robinson, the Leeds Beckett left winger, just needed to use Collier and Kelly outside of him. They had space down this near touchline. Lloyd using Ridding. Ridding taking it into contact. The replacement second row crashed up through the middle. Stolen though, and I think that's been stolen by Rubasniak. A great turnover by the Cardiff Met number 7, doing exactly what he's on the pitch to do. Met trying to break down this near touchline now through Luke Northmore. Northmore coming on. The pass there flat as anything. It almost went forward, but it's been recollected by Ward. The Leeds Beckett back row. Grubber now
Been
down.
A lot of pressure on that left wing.
This is end-to-end stuff over the far touchline. A much better clearance though from Cardiff Met. Venables will need to find touch, and he does. And that crazy passage of play where the game finally seems to have gone on all cylinders.
Yeah, we thought it could be even closer, and I'm glad to say that it has been. Just because Leeds Beckett have added a bit more pace and trickery to their game, which is something that Cardiff Met, if anything, excelled at.
Harry Robinson, though, just as they were running towards this near touchline, coming across the pitch, just needed to pass the ball very simply, very lightly to Harry Collier, and they could have been away down this near touchline. But it's Cardiff Met now into the Beckett half. Williams putting some pace on the ball from scrum half, playing it out the back. Simpson trying to grub her through. It's collected by the replacement. Back, is he going to go all the way? Northmore over the line, and that's Luke Northmore. He's only had 2 touches, they've both been excellent, and Luke Northmore, the replacement Cardiff Met back, has scored here off the bench and put them in the lead for the first time in this game.
Wow, well, just as much as Cardiff Met have rallied and trying to compose themselves to deal with so much Leeds Beckett pressure. Suddenly another opportunity for Ben Williams to offload. Just look at the gap.
Look at the gap and look at the gas.
Yeah.
You can have a gap as big as you like, but if you've not got the wheels to get there, well, that was an excellent example of how to finish tries from an outside back. Successful conversion from Tom Morgan. 9 points to his name now, but what a substitution by Danny Milton and Ian Gardner, brought on just at the right time to reinvigorate some pace into this Cardiff Met backline, and a great individual score for Luke Northmore.
Yeah, a little bit surprised that Leeds Beckett had so much space there, but
straight through the middle.
Errors.
It was a great option by their number 10, George Simpson. Just a little dink over the top, and it was excellently collected.
Yeah, been waiting for George Simpson to come into this game.
Showed why he is starting fly half for Cardiff Met. Up and under by Charlie Venables, though, in the centre of the field. Gone wayward, and it is collected by the away side. Cardiff Met looking to run this now through the captain, Aled Evans. Thrown to the ground by the Beckett defensive line, again using their big forwards to try and punch a hole in this tight Beckett defence. Oh, and there's a breakthrough. Seward going through the prop forward on a 30-metre run there. Are we going to see another try here and a break for Northmore? No, he's taken to ground inside the Beckett 22. Williams trying to pass the ball out wide, but it's fumbled and collected by Beckett. His opposite man, Lloyd, trying to find some options, but the game starting to break up now. We said as we'd approach the final quarter there would be a bit more space on the pitch, and that's certainly been the case. And we've seen some afters on the pitch.
Well, if you're Leeds Beckett right now, you're hurting, aren't you, because of the missed opportunities from the first half, and then they've done so much in this game, so much determination, but now I think it's up to the big players in the team, the captain Tristan Lloyd, Connor Lloyd, perhaps shown some great trickery, but you know, maybe they haven't covered some gaps in defence, and it's up for grabs this game, really. Sam Fox, you know, you expect the fly half to really organise and read the game and cover those gaps in defence and work out how they can stop those holes from being exploited. Rabasniak now on the ground there.
What a turnover he had 5 minutes or so ago, but it was the run from Harry Seward. 60 minutes for a prop is good going, and 60 minutes for a prop and still managing a 30-metre run straight through the heart of the Beckett defence. Well, they will not be at all happy with that.
They've got plenty of quality, Cardiff Met. It's just taken a little bit of time to warm up, and now they've got a little bit more consistency. It'll be interesting to see, but Leeds Beckett, my goodness, they should have more points on the board in this game.
For the amount of possession and territory, yeah, but they've not created enough scoring opportunities in the red zone, have they?
The scoreline is the way it is for a reason.
A time to clear their lines, though. And this one's coming straight towards us.
Right on the roof of the commentary box there. I thought you were going to have to head that one.
I'm sure I could have plucked that out of the air with the one hand, no problem. Just slightly too cold for my bones to move at the moment. Not quite enough length to get Leeds Beckett a line out in the Cardiff half, so they will have thrown in through Tuipulotu Nuku, 45 metres out from their own try line. That was not straight.
I didn't
for
think
love
it was,
nor
no.
money. That's the only one he's not put right in this game, Tuipulotu Nuku. So it will be a scrum down to Cardiff Met, with Ben Williams having the put in.
Yeah, a bit of a rueful look there from Nuku, who's perfect record so far. Just a little bit tarnished, but clearly he's one to relish the head-to-head competition that you get from the scrum. So we'll see. Of course, the substitution, Evely gone off, and Conrad Cade now the prop there for Beckett.
Temperatures dropping slightly now. We're under 5 degrees, which for us here in the commentary box is absolutely excruciatingly cold. Remember, if you want to get in touch on this BUCS Super Rugby vertical live stream, remember hashtag BUCS Super Rugby. Let us know who you've enjoyed watching, maybe even a few man of the match shout outs, as I'm sure we'll get to that point very shortly. But it's a scrum, another reset scrum. We've had so many in this game. The referee has not been happy. Cade, the Beckett replacement prop there, just putting his arm on the ground.
Yeah.
The referee spotting it immediately. And it is a penalty to Cardiff Met. Now it'd be interesting to see if they went for the posts here. It's probably a bit too far, so they are going to go for the corner. An opportunity to send this one deep, and that's an absolute belter of a boot.
Couple of full-time scores, by the way. It finished Loughborough 26, Durham 10, and indeed Exeter 47 to 7 at Bath.
So both two of BUCS Super Rugby's juggernauts back to winning ways this week. Loughborough continuing their resurgence.
Yeah, they were well beaten by Cardiff Met though last time out.
Cardiff Met taking one out the book of Leeds Beckett. Rabasniak going on his own, peeling off the rolling maul there. Not going to be quick ball. The referee penalising Javier Valentino at the breakdown there for not rolling away. So again, it will be another penalty to Cardiff Met. Perhaps surprising that they're not going to kick for the posts, because that would put them more than a converted try away. But they have gone for the corner once again. So Jack Fielding needing to be on the money here.
Well, I think they can have some good confidence that when they've got in these positions, their conversion rate has been fairly high.
Fielding looking to pick out Aled Evans, the captain, and he does. Well collected. A good drive though from Leeds Beckett to push them back, but Met now trying to walk this one forward. Taken to ground though. Good defence from Beckett, and they've stolen it via the palms of Nuku. That man has had a fantastic game so far. He's been all over the shop. Boot to ball for Beckett, trying to clear their lines, but it's taken by Wayne of Cardiff Met. He's trying to go on his own. Can't quite get free. Williams into Reed. Williams trying to move this one wide now. Looking to go into the hands of Jordan Roberts. Jordan Roberts trying to find some space. Taken to ground. The 9-10 axis of Williams and Simpson paying dividends in this second half. Evans, the captain, moving this one right wide to Rubasniak. Rubasniak looks to go on his own. He's found a space in the middle, but he's taken down by Mike Waters of Leeds Beckett. Slow ball here for Williams. Trying to find some options. Simpson around the back. A little bit of a slip there by Tom Morgan, the try scorer. Just as you sense they were gaining some tempo and some speed and intensity and an opportunity to score. Simpson working hard on the ground there, just trying to gain a few extra metres and inches.
Yeah, this is as much as Cardiff Met have really managed to sustain an attack so far.
Wayne in at first receiver, going on his own. Tom Morgan trying to find a hole like he did in the first half. Again, you just sense Cardiff are edging closer. They have the men, they have the intensity. Beckett on the back foot here. 2 metres from the Beckett line. Williams looking to try and move this one wide. Simpson sending the loop pass over. Not gone into space. Around the back to Wayne. Is Wayne going to go in the corner? Wayne steps inside and he's over. Corey Wayne for Cardiff Met. Coming off his right wing, popped up on the left. And a fantastic score for Cardiff Met, and just deserved, Alex.
That was beautiful. That is classic Corey Wayne. Just another darting run. Seemed to have all the time in the world there, but certainly what a cool head. Let's have a look.
The referee, though, well, he's called that forward, and that is not a try. We're just trying to see on the replay.
Yeah, we'll see if we can go back to the live picture, yeah.
So it's going to be a scrum to Leeds Beckett. Well, just as we thought, Cardiff Met might have started to run away with this one. The referee consulted his touch judge, who deemed it to be a forward at a point during that attack.
Much of the play in the build-up, though, was still great. I mean, Rubasniak seemed to be getting a lot of the ball, showing what a great all-rounder he is. You know, flankers are so rarely blamed for losing a game, but they can be key to victory.
Huge moment for Leeds Beckett on their own line almost. Cheers from the supporters and substitutes around West Park here. It's a chilly night. The skies are dark in West Yorkshire. Leeds Beckett trail 8 to Cardiff Met's 14. Tries from Dan Leake of Leeds Beckett, and for Cardiff Met, Tom Morgan, and the substitute Luke Northmore, who's come on in the centre, in the second half. That's someone that's really up the ante for the away side.
That moment switch off could be really what wins the game, perhaps.
The clearance kick though for Leeds Beckett, not really giving them anything to go with, but Rybasniak again picking this one up at the back of the line out. Great use of space there as they're trying to go into the corner. Wayne, who's just had a try disallowed over the other side of the pitch, cutting back inside, trying to find some support. It's all Cardiff Met at the minute, but Williams going to go for a snipe, and he's going to go in under the post. Ben Williams for Cardiff Met, and that you think may have just sealed the game. There is 10 minutes left to play, but what a score from Ben Williams, and Cardiff Met being rewarded for their hard work and persistence in the Leeds Beckett 22.
That is everything he's deserved, the way that he's put out passes and has had such great vision so far and persistence. Suddenly he's the driving force behind his team and makes it look very, very easy.
And that try isn't just something that's a bit of luck. Cardiff Met have worked Leeds Beckett so hard, they were just struggling to defend around the fringes of that ruck, and they just got caught short. Ben Williams, well, he sniffed that one out from a mile away, and in the end, a quiet canter under the post. Ben Williams, the general of this Cardiff Met side.
Yeah, he's been a great link between the forwards and the backs, hasn't he? He hasn't always had enough space, enough time to work the ball and to really exploit gaps in the Leeds Beckett defence. But when he has, it has worked extremely well. And suddenly, there's a fairly big mountain to climb for Leeds Beckett.
And that kick-off there perhaps sums up the Leeds Beckett night. Putting boot to ball hasn't been at its best for the home side. But just going back to the Ben Williams try, we've seen him tonight. A lot of passing, a lot of kicking, a lot of ushering his forwards around. I don't expect that Leeds Beckett would have anticipated he would have gone for the show and go and cut around the edge of the ruck. So it's what you want from your scrum half. Silent assassins going for the quick dart when the opposition are least expecting it.
So a couple of hands on hips there from Beckett. What have they got left in terms of energy, in terms of fight? These just under last 10 minutes really.
So Cardiff Met with the put-in. Big shove from Leeds Beckett though. And the home side, finally something goes their way. This second half has not been the easiest for them. They need their big players now, their leaders in this team, Tristan Lloyd the captain, Connor Lloyd at scrum half, to try and put them in the right positions. Much better boot from the boys in purple. They will have a line out just outside the Cardiff Met 22, and this has certainly been a cliche game of two halves, Alex. In the first we saw Leeds Beckett, they camped themselves in the Met 22, but in the second half it's been the other way around.
Yeah, I mean, when we looked before this game at how consistent Cardiff Met were at scoring points and just how much trickery they seem to have in attack, having beaten Leeds Beckett twice last season, you just wondered whether they would have the edge. In the end, Leeds Beckett, they've given it everything, but perhaps had a few more mistakes at the back and haven't always capitalised.
Solid defence there from Cardiff Met, just forcing Leeds sideways across the pitch. They couldn't get any forward momentum, and huge cheers from the Welsh side. I mean, they're loving it at the moment out there.
Sales are up.
The sales are definitely up. They lead away from home 21 points to Beckett's 8. Cardiff, well, they'll put pressure on Northumbria at the top of the table. A great article online by Wales Online about Cardiff Met and the structure they have at their university for rugby at the moment. And each week they put out 9 teams, 5 in the BUCS leagues and then 4 on the weekend where they have a team play in the Welsh Championship. 2 freshers teams as well. So
that's very impressive.
Ample rugby opportunities, and you know, if you're talking about participation increasing high level performance, as people so often do, never truer than at Cardiff Met.
Well, one of the things when the Super Rugby launched September last year, tried to show that there is real amount of serious rugby to be played, and you mentioned that the strength and depth in Cardiff Met, and you only have to see Leeds Beckett. I think around 20 players have joined, signed contracts within the RFU National League structure in the last few years, and it's testament to the real coaching ability of the likes of Kerry Wood and the pedigree within some of these teams. Kerry Wood himself, a former Hull FC and Harrogate coach. And when you come to face a university side, you know, new year and new tournament, all under lights and on TV cameras, you don't quite know what to expect from the whole team in terms of the precedent of results, new players, but you do know what the coaching structure's like and the culture within the club. And I think with these two and the success that they've had that we touched on, it has shown they're 2 great rugby sides, the sharp end of the division at the moment.
It's good to see that on both lineups for today that it's not just second and third years or even fourth years. There are plenty of freshers, and the Cardiff Met bench was rife with first year students who have only really been at the university for a couple of months, if that. So they've clearly integrated well, because those substitutes have had a big impact. You know, particularly Luke Northmore, we saw score a try earlier on in this second half. He's a fresher and had a massive impact on this game. Again, another few issues with the scrum. Clean put in this time by Cardiff Met. Evans trying to go on the back, but Beckett managed to steal that one. They have a penalty. Can they get within bonus point territory? They need a converted score to do so. Kick to the corner. They're going for the jugular. Trying to find those extra percents now are Leeds Beckett. They're tired, cold, hungry. Perhaps dreaming of their beds. But this is where the BUCS Super Rugby gets really tough in these closing stages, and we have seen Leeds Beckett score late in their last 2 games. Scored late to secure a bonus point against Exeter for the win last week. Can they do the same today? Walking this one forward, peeling off, is Nuku. Nuku, ever present in this side today, had an absolute momentous shift in the front row. Barely put a foot wrong.
Yeah, and it's a shame that it hasn't counted for more, really, from his point of view.
Connor Lloyd picking a forward pod as they come closer to underneath the post. The Cardiff Met stronghold, keeping them at bay for the moment. There is space in the corners. Beckett trying to play it out wide. Can they get over? And they can! It's a score for Leeds Beckett. Looked to me as if that was James Elliott, number 22. Difficult to tell from our side of the pitch. We'll have a little look again, but a good series of play here, and we said that Leeds Beckett could score late, and they have done.
There is life in this Leeds Beckett team. Yeah, just great offloading, I think that was, from Dan Kelly. Really good support, getting the ball over to the right hand side, and some of the pace that we've seen in their game was there, and really good awareness.
The thing with Leeds Beckett we've perhaps not seen in this game is them being clinical.
Yes, not as clinical as Cardiff Met in the second half.
Unsuccessful conversion there by Connor Lloyd. So Leeds Beckett, well, perhaps they'll miss out on a bonus point 8 points away from Cardiff Met. Would have been nice to get that Brucey bonus, but they've just left it too late. They were a lot more clinical in that period of play though. Sucked in the Cardiff Met defence underneath the post and used the ball out wide, and a great finish by James Elliott on the right wing. Met though sending this one deep into the Leeds half. Trying to go from deep here, needing some support in the midfield. Harry Johnston, the referee penalising Cardiff Met there, so another opportunity for Leeds Beckett to attack. Could they get another even later score?
Well, all they can do is just throw everything now.
Less than 5 minutes on the clock. Not much length on that kick. Again, that's perhaps been something that Leeds Beckett will need to address over the next week. Remember, they face Hartpury University Centre next week down in Gloucestershire. That is on our BUCS Super Rugby stream. So tune into our Rugby Vertical BUCS Super Rugby stream next Wednesday, the 15th of November. A 7 o'clock kickoff once again for Leeds Beckett, where we'll see reigning champions Hartpury. Nuku again at the back of this driving maul, trying to walk this one forward. Shunted back thanks to a big Tom Morgan hit in the centre. Elliott, the try scorer, trying to set his backs alight here with some quick ball from the back of the ruck. Leeds Beckett supporters on that far touchline getting very vocal, just trying to cheer their men on. But they have been penalised, and it will give Cardiff Met an opportunity to put the icing on the cake of this victory. You might hear a few whistles. I think some of the fans have got their own instruments. We obviously had fireworks earlier, and now we've got a few whistles as well. Perhaps they're whistling at us, Alex. You never know. Tom Morgan, 2 conversions and a try in this game.
It's been an up and down game for him personally, but he has certainly done enough. And you know, when you contribute a try to your team, although you want to get all of your kicks between the posts, you have done a great job for your university.
A lot of pride he will have, I am sure. So
not dissimilar to the last effort.
And he's absolutely sunk that one.
Bit of redemption.
Almost behind the bar in the West Park clubhouse there on the first floor. Well, that's perhaps an indictment of the Cardiff Met second half. Of course, Morgan not so accurate in the first with boot to ball, but lethal shotgun right foot there. Cardiff just extending their lead by 10 points now to 23 points to Beckett's 13.
I think that's 90 points this season for Tom Morgan, if I haven't miscalculated.
And he will go further up the top of the BUCS point scoring list. Dutifully compiled by BUCS' very own Simon Cruz. Does a fabulous job of providing all the stats throughout the season. Hashtag BUCS Super Rugby. Moments left here in this round 7 fixture between Leeds Beckett and Cardiff Met. Alex, dare I ask, the man of the match for this evening, who's been your favourite from both sides?
Oh, well, you know, it could so easily have been Nuku. That was the absolute engine room, the strongest man on the pitch at times.
Beckett with a chance here just to dart down this near touchline. A bit of space opened up. Perhaps should have used the numbers. Clearly still time on the clock. Talk about Nuku, there he is carrying the ball in again. They have numbers to this near touchline, perhaps a dink over the top. Stuart Nell been bolting forward with the ball in hand, the big second row for the full 80 minutes here at West Park. Nuku again carrying it in a little high, he's going on his own, managed to shrug off a few tackles. Tuipulotu Nuku. Beckett trying to come right now through Elliot Ward, a man who's on the senior academy books at Yorkshire Carnegie. An opportunity for Connor Lloyd to dart through a gap. Doesn't quite get there, but they're getting ever closer to this Met try line. Looking for some spaces, Charlie Venables. Venables, influential in the last moments last week. Trying to get over through the captain, Tristan Lloyd, and Tristan Lloyd right at the death may have just secured his team a bonus point. Indeed he has. Well, what an ending to this game. We'll see if the conversion is good, but Leeds Beckett are now within 7 points and they will have come away with a bonus point, something that they would have more than deserved.
I mean, the grit and determination has been there almost every step of the way.
Barging over the try line there, the captain Tristan Lloyd. He's a hard worker, keeps his head down, but managing to get on the end of a great passage of play. Umpteen phases from Leeds Beckett. Boshed over 3 Met tacklers. They're obviously absolutely battered. This will be the last play of the game. Connor Lloyd, the number 9. Has he managed to curl that one in? He hasn't.
I'm not sure if the wind helped him there.
Yeah, it's starting to get a bit blustery. But a cracking game in blustery conditions tonight at West Park. Cardiff Met starting slowly, but coming back into the game, and the away side had a big journey up here today, and they will have a great journey back tonight, I'm sure. The final scores at West Park: Leeds Beckett 18, Cardiff Met 23.
Well, if we just reflect on this one, really, you'd ask me to say who my favourite players were for the game, and I have to say, could so easily have been Nuku. Certainly he was the best player on the Leeds Beckett team. He was absolutely tigerish and really relished, as you have to do as a forward, going into these one-on-one battles, and he did that with perfection, and his line-outs were good, apart from that one which definitely wasn't straight. Really worked hard for his team and trying to get those extra inches, and Leeds Beckett got so much further up the pitch from just having a go and being determined, but when it came down to it, they just couldn't get the points on the board. At times in the second half they added trickery to their game and a bit more pace, and Connor Lloyd found a few holes and a few gaps, but their awareness wasn't quite as strong as Ben Williams on the other side, who even got involved in the game himself, managed to score his own try, and you could just see when he had a bit of space, he had a bit of time, his reactions were fantastic. His short passes, giving it to the forwards, and the whole team getting involved with those short little crunch passes when you then hit the defence hard like a battering ram and really go for it, and that's what made the difference. And Cardiff Met, yes, I know Tom Morgan didn't get everything between the posts, but they really got the tries where it counted, and similar to Loughborough last weekend, they had just so much trickery, so many different creative ways of scoring tries, whether it was Rubasniak helping out and showing what a great all-rounder he is, with fantastic reading of the game, and Corey Wayne having a great game too. So everyone got involved, but Ben Williams, you felt, really made Cardiff Met tick.
Yeah, Ben Williams, our man of the match here tonight at West Park. The Sycamores has been a fantastic venue. Despite a very chilly night, we've had a couple of 100 people here to watch, which has been fantastic. We'll take you through the highlights, which of course started
going back to the first half here
with this penalty attempt from Tom Morgan. one of a couple he missed this evening. Those shotgun legs of his don't half get some height on the ball, but it was of course Connor Lloyd, the Leeds Beckett scrum half, who took first blood in this game with a penalty just in front of the posts.
Yeah, look at Williams here.
Marshalling his men was our man of the match, Ben Williams, all game. Quick ball, slow ball, tactical kickings. It was Tom Morgan who took the first try of the game, the inside centre, and the BUCS #1 on the point scoring list at the moment. Converted his own try as well. Just before half time, with the last play, well, we saw Dan Leake, the right winger, walk it in moments after Cardiff Met had gone down to 14 men. Unsuccessful conversion attempt at the half time, but this fantastic solo score in the end from the substitute Luke Northmore for Cardiff Met. A dink over the top, Alex, which was a lovely bit of footballing skills from the fly half George Simpson, teeing up the replacement centre Luke Northmore. Looking to go wide here, and this was the disallowed try from Corey Wayne. We thought he was in. This was a great bit of play from himself. He had a lot of work to do when he picked that one up of his toes. The referee, though, saying that it had gone forward. Again here, Wayne automatically back on the ball. This was teeing them up very nicely for the next score. This was with only 15 minutes left to play, and we think how much happened in the last 15 minutes, and we'd said earlier on in the game we thought it would open up, and it did indeed. Our man of the match there, try scorer Ben Williams, Alex, going over for his first try of the game. Well deserved individually for him. And we said just before this, Leeds Beckett, they score late, and we thought this was as late as it would be, through James Elliott on the right wing, crashing over in the corner, the replacement winger. Tom Morgan here, another missed penalty, rather not a missed penalty, a successful penalty. And with the very, very last play of the game, captain for Leeds Beckett, managing to score on home turf, was Tristan Lloyd, who we saw earlier on with the BUCS captain's interviews. Spoke very well there. I'm sure it meant a lot to him to score on his own pitch. I'll take my hood down. You can obviously see how cold it's been here in the commentary box tonight, but Alex, certainly lots to play for these two teams. But we'll be seeing Leeds next week at Hartpury, a different type of contest for them. They've come away with a loss today. They'll be playing Hartpury, who've secured a big win.
Yeah, 52 points they scored there.
Trent, yeah.
But the fact is that Leeds Beckett made this game the way it was because they really took it to Cardiff Met, and it, almost in a way, you know, you've come to our home turf, you've got to show us everything to try and beat us. You've got to use all your reading of the game from the back row to try and just find as many gaps as possible. And it took Cardiff Met a while to get going, to be fair, but clearly whatever was said at half time from the coaching team really urged them to show the little experience perhaps from winning games this season, because they're much improved this season, as are Leeds Beckett. But once they got into the rhythm, they were really, really strong, and that can only bode well. And both of these teams, yes, Leeds Beckett have now lost 2 matches, but they're still pretty much close to the top of the table, and that battle between Hartpury, who've been a little lower down than perhaps you might have expected, could be quite interesting to see. I'm sure that will be another close game.
Yeah, Cardiff Met, a great win for them today. They travelled a long way for this. Danny Milton there, Director of Rugby, and Head Coach Ian Gardner, no doubt be having a few celebratory drinks on the bus on the way home. But they're closing in on Northumbria at the top of the table. They're wanting to secure top 3 this year. Do you think they could go even further and take the title?
Well, potentially. I mean, we have seen a little bit that they're not the strongest of teams. Sometimes there was questions to be asked of the props in the scrums sometimes, but they just need to sort of build on that. Some of that will come with good coaching, perhaps just having a little bit of confidence and the ability to organise the game right from the back. And then if they can continue that, we just know that they've got such a mixed bag of ability to try and score tries, and just they were great at getting points on the board. And I'm sure on another day that Tom Morgan might have put a few more of those kicks between the posts.
Yeah, well, next week, 7 o'clock at Hartpury. Hartpury versus Leeds Beckett in round 8 of the BUCS Super Rugby. I hope you've enjoyed it tonight. This has been the Rugby Vertical live stream. Round 7 of BUCS Super Rugby. Final score from West Park. Leeds Beckett losing 18 points to Cardiff Mets 23. Until next week, from me, Scott and Alex here at West Park. Until next time.
We're not trying to produce weightlifters or gym monkeys here. We're trying to produce rugby players.
So we have a quite intense S&C program here and conditioning. We have a great coach in Di Watts, who's been here for all my 3 years, and he's been absolutely excellent in what he does. He's very professional and he's always 100% behind the team, and it is very full on, but it's got to be. With the physicality of the league this year, especially in the BUCS, if you don't have that S&C work, then unfortunately you just won't be able to withstand the physicality of the game.
We always try and bring some form of competition into what we're doing here. You know, people are always aware of who's got the biggest squad, who's got the biggest clean. What we try and emphasise is that one of the biggest competitions you'll have is with yourself. So while we keep profiles on people, we're kind of more interested on that person beating his own scores than necessarily beating somebody else's score. So as long as we've got somebody developing and making steps forward, they might be a long way off the guy who's squatting the heaviest weight or running the fastest time. But if we feel that they're moving along their pathway, then we're completely happy, and we try and make sure they understand that we're happy with them as well.
It's definitely helped me on the field. I feel a lot more physical, a lot more dynamic in my carrying, because it's not just gaining strength and size, it's also improving on your other aspects of your game, so like agility, speed, etc. I just feel like I'm a lot more rounded athlete than I was when I first came in my first year.
So kept in the home side possession with Luke Northmore. Northmore going over the try line, and he has scored for the home team.
The programme is designed to give our players every opportunity to train as full-time professional rugby players whilst continuing with their studies. You know, we want them to enjoy themselves, and there are times when they should go and have a blowout socially. Nothing wrong with that, you know. But balance is the key, and making those tough decisions along the way of when they can and when they can't do that, I think, is an important part of what we're trying to encourage here as well.
Coming into BUCS Super Rugby is probably the toughest division I've ever played in. The game is so much quicker and a lot more physical than what I'm used to.
I think from us, with regards to the performance department, it's allowed us to look at players and we've had players now coming into our national squad which probably may not have happened before, and also they're getting the right expertise and coaching to go along with it. So from a programme perspective, we feel it's the right move, and it's a good move for young players.
All the boys are really driven. Everyone knows what's expected of them and what we expect of others. And if that expectation isn't reached, then we will know about it. And it just takes a bit of honesty, like personally and to our peers, to say, look, we need to up ourselves, and as a unit and as an individual.
It's sort of a family ethos. We know how hard it was going to be this year with the standard of obviously rugby with the BUCS, with the new BUCS League. So we try to get this family culture around us, and I think it's paid off. We've got a lot of good relationships from first years to second years to third years.
You turn up and there's a lot of lads who already built bonds and already know. Everyone's really welcoming. Everyone understands what it's like to be a fresher. As soon as you get into the routine, then you're just one of the lads, and you have to step up just like everyone else.
You know, everywhere you go away, there's always people from Cardiff Met, and you can always talk about this place and the history of it, and the great players that have actually come from this institution as well, and hopefully those will still remain in years to come.